Welcome to our Nevada judges. Joining me,
I'm John Abel, 20-year LVMPD officer, Government Affairs Director for the LVPPA, the union that represents LVMPD police officers.
and I'm attorney Ophelia Markarian. And joining us is someone Las Vegas voters are going to be hearing a lot more in the upcoming months. Amanda Pellizzari is a candidate for Las Vegas Municipal Court Department 1. She's a Boyd Law School graduate, admitted to the Nevada Bar in 2008, and she spent her career in private practice right here in Las Vegas. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you.
For viewers who don't know you yet, tell us about your path, Boyd Law, admitted in 2008, and you've been in private practice since. What kind of work?
I've practiced in most kinds of law. When I started, it was in civil, and then a couple of years in, I started criminal defense, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So I've been a lawyer for over 18 years, so about 16 years of that has been doing criminal law. I've been an interim judge in municipal court. So for 4 years, I was actually on the other side of the bench in there, handling trials, sentencings, everything in municipal court. I opened my own law firm back in 2013. I practice in almost every court in the state of Nevada, all of the rurals, federal court, county, city, all the way up in northern Nevada. So like you said, I finished Boyd in 2008, and I've been practicing here. I went to undergrad here, law school here. So Las Vegas has been my home since I was 8 years old.
Nice. Why municipal court specifically?
So initially, for most of my career, what I've handled is more serious felony cases. And a lot of times when you're doing that, by the time you get involved in that case, you're essentially mitigating something. So something really bad has happened, and you're mitigating. You maybe have somebody who's been in the system for a long time, or somebody that did something really bad and confessed to it. So 2 years ago, I took a contract with the city of Las Vegas where I started being a public attorney, which means that every defendant, indigent defendant that comes through Department 5, I represent them. So once I started doing that and seeing the specialty programs that they have in municipal court, I saw that as an opportunity where instead of essentially mitigating, I would be able to get involved and kind of cut those problems off at the head with people who keep coming in and out of municipal court, but have not done something super serious to end up in district court yet. So my interest is helping that. I feel like that's probably right now one of the best ways to keep our community safer is when you get in there before the people start doing more serious offenses.
And what about this particular moment made you decide to run?
So initially, there was an appointment where they were appointing a judge in Department 1. Judge Leon retired. So I applied for that appointment, and the board that interviewed me selected me as the top 3. And then when it went to city council, I came in as number 2. So a few days after that, I decided I was going to run. So I announced my candidacy shortly after I lost.
As a longtime police officer, what makes you the better candidate for law enforcement?
So I think first and foremost is experience. I have done numerous jury trials as lead counsel. When you have a judge who hasn't really done a ton of, like for instance, they do jury trials in municipal court now for domestic violence. So if you've never done a jury trial and now you're going to be presiding over a jury trial, I think I'm the only one that's going to have the experience to be able to do that. I'm also very fair. I've been practicing for a very long time, like I said, mostly criminal defense. However, I am very respected by all the officers that come into the court, the defendants, the officers, the judges. I'm a very reasonable, level-headed person. I'm very much see both sides, and both sides have to work equally fair for the right outcomes to happen. And most law enforcement that I interact with does trust me for that.
What do you see as the biggest challenges facing the Las Vegas Municipal Court today? Example, courtroom technology, support for self-represented litigants, things like that.
So as far as technology, there are little things that every other court, even some of the small rural courts do, like e-filing, that we're not doing in municipal court. So there's little things like that. There's not as much use of technology as there could be. As far as self-represented litigants, there really aren't very many. If the city is seeking jail time, which means they want to hang a sentence over your head or impose a sentence, you get a lawyer. if you can't afford one, or if you can't afford one, I would represent you. If you can, you have to hire your own. But to be able to go forward representing yourself, you have to you have to show a certain understanding and knowledge of the law to be able to do that. So you don't really have a ton of self-represented people. I also think that recidivism is a big problem in the municipal court, that you just keep seeing the same defendants coming in and out. So that's something that I think also can be addressed.
You've spoken about your interest in specialty courts. So this is a good segue into that. What would be your approach balancing accountability and rehabilitation for defendants in community court?
So obviously accountability, once you commit a crime and you're in front of the court, accountability is the most important thing that we have to handle. You broke a law, there needs to be a consequence for it. And especially if there's a victim, there needs to be a consequence for it. However, there are situations where there's a specific reason that can be addressed that the person did this, such as a mental health issue or a substance abuse issue, or they don't have the home. So there's a lot of certain things like that where that's why they're there. And a lot of these crimes are victimless crimes. A lot of it are things that if the person is willing to do and can receive the right kind of help, that you stop having them come back through the system. So obviously, like I said, accountability and community safety is number one. And then how can we help this individual person not keep coming back?
And my last question is, for someone who may be appearing in community court, what advice would you give them to help them navigate the process respectfully and effectively?
So you mean if somebody came in as a defendant?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's my job right now, is getting them through the system. Obviously, you have to be knowledgeable, respectful. Hopefully everybody in the courtroom is respectful to you, even if you're a defendant. But listen to your attorney. Do what your attorney tells you to do. Follow through with any sentence that you might have. You need to make sure that you got your requirements done, that you don't go out and get in more trouble, or you are going to end up in jail for something potentially minor because you just didn't do what you were supposed to do.
Well, without getting into opposition, tell us, what do you bring that's different from your opponents?
I've been on both sides of the bench. Like I said, from I think 2014 to 2019, I was a pro tem judge in municipal court. So I wasn't able to handle any cases in that court as long as I was being a judge in there. So I was handling cases in district court and Clark County, federal court, but not municipal court. And now I'm also practicing on the other side of the bench as a public attorney. Right now, the municipal court bench for a very long history has been a primarily career prosecutor bench. And depending on how the election goes, it's going to stay that way. So what I bring is that you have somebody passing judgment upon somebody else who has never even potentially spoken to one of those people before, has never had to understand anything about that person. They've always just been prosecuting the crimes, which prosecution and defense equally important. I believe I could do either side of that because I truly believe in it equally, that it needs to be done fairly on both sides. But to be passing judgment on people who you potentially have never even had a conversation with, I think that's something where I'm different with. I've been on the side where I'm walking them through the system rather than just prosecuting them. Also the experience. There's just not another candidate. It's just very clear on paper. If you compare, there's just not another candidate that has my experience in court. I've been an in-court trial attorney for 18 years.
And how do you think about judicial temperament? And what does a good judge sound like from the bench?
Judicial temperament is something it's very important, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen a judge on the bench lose control, be disrespectful, whether it's to the lawyers, to the clerk sitting next to them, to the defendants, to a jury. I've even seen that, and that's just so disgraceful. You can't sit up there in a robe and act like you're better than everybody. I know that I am generally, especially with what I do, and I deal with a lot of people with mental illness or substance abuse, and I've had to learn to stay very calm and always have a very calm demeanor and temperament. I don't see myself ever getting worked up on the bench like I do see a lot of people do. So it's just very important. You're not better than anybody else. You're in a position where you're making decisions you have a contentious situation, you have two people that have two different sides, and you're making a decision. That doesn't put you in a position to be better than them or superior to them.
And if you're elected and someone's watching this 2 years from now, what would you want them to say changed about Department 1 under your watch?
I would hope that they would say that Veterans Court has grown into be something better than it's ever been. While I'm not the incumbent who's been running Veterans Court, I am endorsed by 3 veteran organizations right now. So I think that speaks volumes that the veterans trust me and believe that I can help make the program better. Even I obviously am hoping to win, and that nothing is a guarantee, but I do want to make sure I'm prepared for if I do win. So I am in the process of starting training and such so that I could come right in and know how to handle Veterans Court. I've been in contact with several organizations who have agreed to help train me to run the program. So I'm not trying to be arrogant and, I'm going to win, but if I win, this is a very important program and I need to go in there ready to run it.
And where can viewers learn more about you or get involved?
So you can go to my website at www.electamandajudge.com. I also have social media under all of that address. But when you go to my website, you'll get my email, phone number, address, anything you want to know. And if anybody ever wants to reach out, you can even send me a text, give me a phone call, and I'll be happy to meet with anybody or take any phone calls and let you know more about myself.
And you have a social media as well.
Yes, Elect Amanda Judge. And that's all. Their links are all on my website where you can get links to all of that.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.